Welcome back, it's me Lou, and today I'm here for a very special action figure unboxing and review, and we are looking at this guy. This is the Archie McPhee Bigfoot action figure. Warning, choking hazard, small parts not for children under the age of 3. So, in my attempt to explore other genres of toys, I saw this online, and I've always been fascinated by Bigfoot, and I couldn't resist this. This was advertised, I think, as being 7.5 inches tall. The package looks beautiful. This is kind of like the Star Wars Black Series of like Bigfoot action figures, and you know, being a collector of Marvel Legends, Star Wars Black Series, G.I. Joe Classified, and all the other like fabulous 6 and 7 inch toy lines, I'm like, I have to get this. This looks really cool. I love Bigfoot, and I just couldn't resist it. The box is awesome. It's the box feels really cool. It like Marvel Legends has nothing on this package. There's this beautiful die cut of the forest, really cool logo. The windows framed the character beautifully. Even in the background, there's kind of like a forest going on. It has that iconic Bigfoot where he's like walking, and he's kind of like, you've seen that, we've all seen that old video footage of Bigfoot walking the forest, and he's like walking, then he kind of like stops and turns and looks back. And I don't know, this is really cool. Remember, this is not a toy. It is designed for nor intended for children under the age of 12. You have to keep on reminding us that it's not a toy, not a toy. It's a toy. It's an action figure. Alright, let's read this. Bigfoot action figure. Have you seen a Bigfoot? If you have, you are one of the lucky few. Bigfoot wander the forests of the Pacific Northwest looking for food and trying to avoid contact with humans. They are rumored to be over 8 feet tall, weigh over 600 pounds, and would wear a size 21 shoe if they didn't love going barefoot. While an actual Bigfoot has never been captured or clearly photographed, this action figure mixes hard scientific evidence with informed conjecture to provide what we feel is an entirely accurate representation. Wow. Wow. That's cool. I am stoked on this toy. I don't know who makes this. I'm reading the back, or at least the bottom. It's made in China, exclusive for accoutrements, Seattle, USA. So Seattle, Pacific Northwest, I'm guessing this is something that's you might find, you know, if you're happen to be in the Pacific Northwest doing tourism stuff or just whatever, and you stop by a gift shop, maybe there's one of those kind of deals. It's Archie McPhee, not really sure what that is. Man, let's open this up. What I appreciate is that they didn't tape the top. It's almost like they intentionally made this for people who are collectors, knowing that they're going to want to open it and not ruin the package, which is me. Okay. I'm very excited to check this figure out. I hope it's quality and it like doesn't break the minute I take it out. Okay, this is cool. So, as I mentioned previously, you get this cool like forest backdrop in the box, so you know you can take this out, maybe put it on your display shelf, use it as a scenery or background. It's neat. I would have preferred this more if it was a matte finish. I don't like the gloss, because let's say that you have this in your display shelf and you have lights on it, it kind of catches that reflection. But it's a cool little freebie, if you will. Okay, main event. It's Bigfoot. Alright, first impressions while he's in the tray. Stoked. I'm really excited to have this. it's, it's like one of those action figures that I didn't know I needed. It looks beautiful. He comes out easily from the tray. There's no ties or anything holding him in. And here he is. He's articulated. Articulation's extremely limited. The cuts are kind of weird, but it's a Bigfoot action figure, and his legs feel stuck, or at least this one does. All right, not anymore. Okay. I can't stop laughing. All right, so this guy. All right, it's kind of weird. It's almost like they sculpted him in his walking pose and decide. I've talked about this before. Like, this was a big thing in like the 90s. Like a lot of action figures, they were super detailed, and they were like miniature statues. So I have this theory that a lot of the action figures that we saw in the 90s, articulation seems like it was always like an afterthought. Like when I look at some of the action figures we got in the 90s, especially some of the McFarlane stuff, they seem like they might have been statues at first. Or at least they were conceived as like statues, and then with the intent of being action figures. So they'd sculpt these beautiful like mini statues that might be I don't know, maybe like a 1 or a 2 up of the actual action figure. You know, might be twice the size, the prototype or the concept. And then at some point they're like, okay, now we need to make it an action figure. So the statue, they'll just like, you know, cut it at the shoulders and at the legs, and just make those articulated joints. So that's why they're kind of locked in a certain pose, even though they're articulated. If that makes any sense. Like this guy, he seems like this is supposed to be his natural pose. Like maybe he was sculpted as a statue like this. But then at some point they knew they were going to make an action figure, so they probably cut it at the shoulders, at the waist, and at the crotch, and at the legs. So then he could have movement. But then when you put him in a very neutral stance, it doesn't flow well. If you can see what I'm saying. You see, this doesn't look like how it's like his neutral, natural pose would be if he was meant to be articulated. Like the legs kind of conflict with each other when they move, and his shoulders are kind of shrugged up. But it's a beautiful figure. The sculpting is really crisp. I love nice deep cuts. I don't like it when stuff's kind of like sculpted really soft. There's a lot of definition here. Unfortunately, his head doesn't move. It looks like it might be glued in. So his head is actually a separate piece in his body. You can tell back here. But it doesn't move. His arms, you can just rotate it and bend at the elbow. There's no... Can't go out, and there's no wrist swivel. It swivels at the waist. His legs... I can't stand laughing at this. His legs move. His knees bend. He has some ankle articulation. It's a weird figure. He looks like, I guess, what Bigfoot's supposed to look like, or Sasquatch. But he's also just hairy. He looks kind of like a wolf man. And I'm sure if he took his head off, you could probably put that on another body, and he'd look like this, like a normal dude with a crazy beard. It even does like the wolf man pose. There's so much potential for this guy. Yeah, this is awesome. I'm so happy I have this. All right, so one reason why I got this too is because the minute I saw this online, my first thought was, what would a bootleg knockoff Star Wars Black Series Chewbacca look like? And then I immediately thought, like, if there's some company out there making bootleg Star Wars figures in the 6-inch scale, and then, they try passing them off as like, Space Wars or Space Battles, and they want to do a Chewbacca like action figure, this is it. This is bootleg Chewbacca. And speaking of bootleg Chewbacca, I gotta tease this because this thing I'm about to show you kind of falls into the same realm as this, and I'm saving it for a future video. This is probably my most prized possession in terms of Star Wars memorabilia, and it's this. is this crazy Chewbacca ceramic statue that I found, and if you look carefully, you can kind of you can kind of see the resemblance here. I love these things so much. Oh God. Yeah, so be on the lookout. One of these days, I'm gonna do a video pretty soon about this guy. He's my pride and joy. I love him very much. He's pretty big. He won't fit under my document camera. So, but this is my Chewbacca. I love you, Chewbacca. All right, back to this guy. We can't get enough of the Bigfoot action figure. Yeah, this is awesome. It seems like if you need a, I don't know if if this dude's actually 7 inches. He looks kind of short. I got a Star Wars Black Series figure here. All right, this is a custom Jedi Master Luke I made, and this is about, I think Luke's kind of short to begin with. I don't think he's 6 inches in the line, but yeah, this might be 7 inches maybe. Here's a McFarlane. McFarlane figs are like 7 inches. This is the Johnny Silverhand from Cyberpunk. Yeah, he's about 7. This guy's about 7 inches. And just because I have it on hand. So yeah, if you have this Bigfoot figure, you could join the band. You know, they're on tour, rocking out. I have this one action figure. I don't know what it is. I might have shown it in another video. I got this secondhand. It was used. I fell in love with it the minute I saw it. I don't know what it is. I don't know who this is supposed to represent. This is a crazy action figure. It's some sort of weird mountain man. He has like a wolf head on his head, like or a fox. You know, maybe like gutted it and took the fur and made it into a hat. He has this crazy beard. He kind of looks like, I forget the actor's name. He's like the security guard in Mallrats, and he was one of Thulsa Doom's henchmen in the original Conan movie. He kind of looks like that. But yeah, this is like some sort of weird Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone looking mountain man action figure. And it's just he's just like a solid hunk of rubbery plastic. He's not articulated, but he looks crazy. I love this guy, and for some reason, you put these two together, and it looks like they belong to like the same like action figure line or family. It's like they're buddies. This is like a buddy cop movie. And this is like the grizzled veteran, and this is like the rookie. He's like, he looks all nervous because it's like his first day on the job. So yeah, these guys, you know, if this guy goes on display, this one's going right next to him. He's gonna look out for him. He's gonna look out for the young blood. All right, since we're on the subject of Chewbacca, and you know, for me, this is like better than Black Series Chewbacca. I think this guy's throwing the gauntlet down, and he's issuing out a challenge to Black Series Chewbacca. You know, this is going to be the new King of the Hill when it comes to 6-inch scale action figures or 7-inch scale action figures. So we have 2 different Black Series Chewbaccas here. This is a party. Okay, I'm not sure which one's which. Someone might have to correct me. So I want to say this might be is this the first release of Chewbacca in Black Series? I know one of these might be the Force Awakens one. Chewbacca's one of those dudes that every time they release him in the Black Series, I never feel like they get him right. Wow, I didn't notice this until now. These have different straps. Look at this one. This one has which year? I don't know if the year is on this. The year on this figure there is none. Yeah, no year on this one either. All right, so if anyone who's like smart onto Star Wars and Black Series figures, I don't know, maybe go like write in the comments below which one is the original release, if either of these are, or which one is. Yeah, it's really throwing me off. I didn't realize that their straps were different. This one has more cartridges, less detail. This one has less cartridges, more detail. This one has the ringlet actually painted silver. This one, they don't even have the ringlet molded. It's just punched out. No paint application. This one has the much better satchel. It's not a purse, it's a satchel. And this one has a very bare minimum one. Oh, I'm so confused now. I don't know if either of these are the original one. I can't remember how many times they released Chewbacca in the Black Series. I never liked this one. This one has a very feminine looking face. This looks more like Chewbacca's like wife or something. And if this was Chewbacca's wife and here's Chewbacca, you know, maybe this is one of those scenarios where he's like, hey honey, I brought someone home, you know. Because we've been talking in the bedroom about, you know, expanding our horizons and inviting new guests into our love life. And then he introduces this guy and he's like, hey, I'm Frank from work. And then, you know, they all three of them mess around, and then she falls in love with Frank, and then he goes nuts. And then he's out to kill Frank and his wife. But, you know, Frank, he just thought he was in it for like a one-time thing. He didn't realize that you know, this affair would get out of hand. And then all of a sudden one of them turns up missing, like maybe the wife's missing, and then the cop shows up at the door and he's like, hey, you know, your wife's dead, you're a primary suspect. And then Chewbacca's like, no, I'm not. And then Frank's just caught in the middle of this triangle of love and danger. Yeah, so I like Bigfoot. He's awesome. It's almost kind of like, this is like bootleg Chewbacca. And then here's legit Chewbacca. And then while we're at it, we have like legit Han Solo. And there's like bootleg Han Solo. I wonder if this I wonder if this should be the thumbnail for the YouTube video. You know, really like bait people in. Maybe. I don't know what's more appealing, this as the thumbnail or the idea of like, you know, like Wookiee threesome. Oh man, the decisions I have to make. Okay, well this was a waste of time. I don't know. Well, if you're curious like me and wanted to see what this Bigfoot action figure was like, you know, this was my 2 cents on it. It's neat. I like it a lot. If I had to rate this guy numerically, my first thought would be a 7. You know, subject-wise, a 10. I love Bigfoot. I don't know if this is an accurate representation of what Bigfoot looks like, but he's definitely at least, I don't know, a 6.5 to a 7. 7 being very generous. His articulation is very limited. You know, they can't even friggin' move his head. You know, but it's Bigfoot. It's an action figure. I'm not sure how many of, you know, articulated Bigfoot figures we have out there. Like, I've seen, like, Bigfoot, like, mini statues and figurines, but I've never seen one actually advertised as being, like, an action figure like this one. It's neat. I didn't pay too much for it. I forgot how I bought it on Amazon. I can't remember how much. I think it was less than a Black Series or a Marvel Legends. Maybe it was like $14 or $17. I think. Possibly even less. And if I paid more for it, I'm a fool. So yeah, here's Bigfoot. Get him, love him, give him a home. And I don't know, not much else to say. Well, anyhow, I'm Lou. Thanks for dropping by, and I hope you're doing well. Talk to you later.